Webtoon family, how you guys doing today? I'm Webtoon King, and today we'll be doing Hardcore Leveling Warrior Chapter 1 Earth Game. This is my review for the chapter. First, before we start the review, have you guys seen my last video on the prelogs of Hardcore Leveling Warrior? If not, go watch it please, because it does tie into somewhat in this chapter a little bit. Let's talk about the art style first of all. Be honest, who else had their heart almost bursting out of their chest this chapter? Because my god, if you guys seen the last panel of Ethan getting his power back, that was GOAT tier to me, and it made me consider putting this series as my favorite webtoon. But like always, the art in Hardcore Leveling Warrior is amazing and very detailed. And sometimes based on the situation, it can have a different art style to convey different emotions. But let's move on. Let's talk about the main points of the chapter. The first one is how bad Ethan's current situation is at the beginning of the story or the chapter. The second one is we get an update on all our main character status, like Carter, Sorrel, and Armin. I know Armin is not how you say it, but that's how I read it. Number 3, we finally see Ethan form herself behind the puddle, and that was very exciting. The fourth one is everything going wrong for our team. It just went to hell this chapter for a little bit. Number 5, Ethan's old self seemed to be helping him, but might have a different moral standards than our current Ethan, considering he wanted us to abandon the healer this chapter, but our current Ethan didn't want to. And the last one is at the end of the chapter, my god, we get to see Ethan get his powers back. I honestly thought it would take longer, but I'm happy it didn't. Now let's talk about what we learned at the beginning of the chapter. We see Ethan at the beginning of the chapter wondering why he is so ass at using the system when he was a pro gamer. We also see Ethan, and we see Ethan that he's 34 now, so it's been a year from the prelogs to chapter 1, because in the prelogs I'm pretty sure he was 33, and it kind of gets confirmed later down the chapter. It's been a year. Ethan is in the car explaining to us, the readers, that he's something called sub 10. A sub 10 is characters, or I would say gamers in this universe that's stuck at level 10. That's why he's paying people to help him get past level 10. Ethan continued to inform us about the fact that there's been multiple cases of sub 10s being able to pass level 10. To be able to do this, you have to attack a dungeon that's high level. Here lies the next problem. You have to pay 10k for a decent part to help you go past level 10. The next problem is you don't have a choice, because character levels is your social and economic status in this new universe, new world, I guess. So paying 10k might be worth it, because if you can increase your status, wealth, and anything in this world, is worth it to me. So the driver gave us a little bit of gem, because he mentioned that there's a female player that joined the PU, and we get to see a box explaining to us what a PU is. And a PU is the Players Union, and this is a big deal because this is their form of the United Nations in this universe. So we learned that the Player Union is the best guild in this world right now. But we see Ethan is getting to his destination and got out the car and saw the 2 people he hired to get him past level 10. The first one is a guy named Hantong Kim, level 54. He's a swordsman. And the second one is So Young Jo, level 47, and she's a healer. I know I'll probably mess up the names, but I apologize in advance. I'm not gonna know any of these South Koreans' names. So anyways, let's move on. We see them going into the gates, and the very first scene we see of Ethan, as soon as he enters, you just see him getting attacked. But Ethan had a bad feeling about it, because it seemed like the monsters getting to him too easily. But he's kind of right, because then we see that the big guy who's a swordsman is kind of letting him get attacked so he can save him at the last minute, so he can charge him $1,000 for each save. And even though that's a scumbag thing, because I hate that Ethan has to pay $1,000 per rescue. Ethan has no choice, because he needs to get a class change, and the meathead is the big guy, the guy swordsman. I'm just gonna call him meathead for the rest of the chapter. The meathead started making fun of Ethan because he knows that Ethan was a pro gamer, and it's funny to him because he's wondering how a pro gamer sucks at a universe or a war where it basically became a video game. Imagine if Ninja sucks and at Fortnite, let's just say Earth just became a Fortnite game and Ninja will suck. People will make fun of him. So that's basically what's going on right now. But outside of that, we see Ethan explain why he needs a class change. Ethan let us know that the status of all our main characters, like what's going on with them. First one is Carter. He went missing a year ago, which I'm telling you, I still got that theory from the prelogs. I'm telling you, go watch it. I had a theory about Carter still having his ability, because he's a time. I think his attribute's time, so I think he might still, throughout this whole thing, he still had his memory. That's my theory. But either way, let's go to the next two people. Armin got random sickness like 6 months ago, and also it mentioned that Carter went missing a year ago. That's how I know that's been a year, at least a year time skip. And the last one is Sorrow. She's taking multiple jobs so she can pay off Armin's sickness. So even though Ethan is a prideful person, he was willing to apologize so he can help his friends out, and he was willing to pay the extra fees that the meathead wanted, because he had no choice. He needed to get a different class. While Ethan was walking, we just see him getting healed randomly, but it was by the healer, because she mentioned she's a fan of Ethan when he was a pro gamer. But the meathead got jealous because he started to feel like he was a third wheel in this situation, which is funny. It's funny to me. But while walking, we see our man Ethan embarrass himself by tripping over a rock, falling into a puddle. But my God, this is a scene my heart almost burst out when I was talking about the art style. This is one of the scenes that made me like almost my heart coming out my stomach on my body. We get to see a version of Ethan, his old version from the last series, the OG series, with his red hair, his beautiful hair, and his beautiful armor. We see it in the puddle. So Ethan tried to convince the rest of the group that he saw himself, but they didn't believe him. So the meathead hit Ethan in the head, and they decided to keep going deeper in the dungeon, and they finally arrived to the third floor. We get to see the boss of the dungeon, which was a python snake at level 8. So, and everybody was happy because this is probably a jackpot. Basically, it's kind of confirming that this is going to help Ethan with his class up. So that's why everybody was happy. But we noticed that the snake mentioned hardcore leveling warrior name, so it made me think about the last series and remember something very important. It even made me want to do some research. And I remember this snake at the very first chapter fought Ethan, and while fighting, then this is how Ethan lost his number one ranked spot, because while Ethan was fighting the snake and people who were trying to jump him, that's when Zero snuffed up, kind of came behind Ethan and sucker punched him and took his rank from him. So it makes sense that the snake can sense Ethan due to him fighting him in the previous series. Even Ethan felt like he knew the snake from somewhere. Anyways, the snake is attacking our group, but the meathead was able to stop him, and he basically shows us his experience, that why he's a level 50. He was able to use different tactics to kill the snake, so I had to give him his props. I can't even hate, even though I don't like him, but yeah, he shows that he knows his experience. That's the one thing I like about hardcore leveling. People who are high level knows what they're doing. They don't just make them dumb and strong. But even though we noticed that the meathead beat the dungeon, Ethan class didn't go up. So we have a scene of Ethan jumping basically on the meathead back and trying to convince him to keep going because he didn't see his class change. But that the meathead didn't care that his class didn't change. He was trying to walk away. While both of them were arguing, we see the snake get back up. And we see a bunch of, those system boxes turning red saying that the hidden objective requirement has been met. And basically phase 2 has begun on Earth. So due to that, the snake became an S rank. And also Undead Dragon. Basically this happened in the OG series too. So go back and read it. Yeah, but due to the snake being the SS rank, everyone got scared because it's an SS rank. They're all wondering like, what's the SS rank doing there? But even though it's an S rank, they still have to fight him. The meathead basically told the healer to buff him, but it didn't matter because that snake, oh my god, smacked the shit out of that meathead. He smacked him so hard. That guy became a pussy because he started running. He was panicking. He's supposed to be the tanker. Even Ethan kind of mentioned, like, you're the tanker. How are you going to bandage us, basically? But the guy ran away. But due to him messing around and running away, the cave kind of caved in. And Ethan and the girl, the healer was kind of stuck. But they had no choice but to deal with the situation. So Ethan and the girl were just running around and basically mentioned to the healer that, yo, this snake kind of seemed dumb ever since he's transformed. And the dude say that when we first see that the snake turned into an SS rank, they kind of mentioned in there somewhere that he lost his intelligence too. So Ethan being able to pick it up is amazing, but it makes sense because he's a pro gamer in this universe too. So even though he's not hardcore leveling warrior yet, he's still got his knowledge before he gets his memory back, hopefully. And then this is what shocks the healer because she knows that Ethan is very intelligent, but Ethan kind of let her know like, hey, I ain't become a dumbass because I'm weak. Like, I might not be strong in this universe, but I'm still a pro gamer. Basically, he's talking the shit. But this is the fun part of the chapter. While running away, his former self starts showing up in different situations where he's almost getting killed by the snake. But his former self is basically saving the current Ethan by telling him what to do, what moves to tell the healer to use, and basically that. But the one time, there is one situation when Ethan decided not to listen to his old self, is that when his old self told him to abandon the healer or sacrifice her for him to survive. But he decided not to go through with that and just freestyle and told the healer to use a move called, what's the name of the move? I'm sorry, I gotta think of it. It's called Holy Shield. And he told the healer to place it on the pillar and they were able to kill the snake, or so they thought. While both of them are running towards the exit, a big ass rock fell towards them. And my man Ethan kind of pushed the healer out the way and saved her, but he was stuck under the rock like Obito from Naruto, basically. Ethan had to yell at the healer to leave, but before she left, she basically told him, yo, I'm gonna bring people back with me to save you. But while Ethan was dying, he started thinking of his friends, but due to that, you see the snake throwing Ethan and eating him like Attack on Titan. But due to him dying, we see the system basically mention that Ethan has 2 lives and He used one of them, and the system is replacing Ethan with Hardcore Leveling Warriors, basically the same person, I hope. And my God, this is where we get to see a Hardcore Leveling Warrior. All his stats is like 999, all of them. But while we're looking at this amazing panel, I guess we see the snake attack him. And that's where we end the chapter with Hardcore Leveling with his old beautiful red hair. He got a newbie gear on, so he doesn't have his armor back yet, but it don't matter. All his stats is good. But I'm pretty sure after this fight, he's going to have some restriction on some of his moves because he can't have all this 999, everything maxed out. So maybe one thing's going to be maxed out and then the rest is going to get restricted again after the fight with the snake. But anyways, let's talk about my rating for this first chapter. It's a 10 out of 10 for the art, story, and action. So I'm satisfied with this chapter. Let me know if you guys are satisfied with this chapter. Hopefully you are. And this is the end of my review. So subscribe, like, and comment down below on my improvements I can do to become a better YouTuber. But anyways, Toon Family, we out.